Welcome to City Built Sessions, the show where we explore and talk to the people, businesses, and cultures that really shape our cities and places. And I'm excited today to have this conversation because it really is a key piece to what I feel makes our cities great. My name is Irvans Augustin, and I'm here to talk with Isabella Bru. But before we introduce her, I just wanted to say anyone who's been in Miami for more than a minute, you've either heard the story or others like us who've been here for a little bit longer, you've seen it evolve and grow. We've seen the first-hand impact that artists can have on a city. We watched neighborhoods like Wynwood transform from overlooked industrial districts into internationally recognized cultural destinations. And it's not just Miami, it's happened all over the world. It's just been kind of a unique experience for us here because we just kind of had the opportunity to see it happen in real life. And we've seen how public art becomes part of not just the culture, but really helps define a city and give it its identity like Miami has. And we've also seen how artists itself have shaped not just how a city looks, but how it feels, and also I would add the industry as well, because it's really shifted in the past 2 decades since Art Basel and everything has been here. Yet behind every mural, behind every exhibition, installation, or creative project is a person navigating that challenge of building a life, a career, and a creative practice in one of the most dynamic cities in America. Today's guest is Isabella Bru, a Miami-based interdisciplinary artist whose art explores memory, grief, and identity and belonging through sculpture, installation, performance, and drawing. Did I get it all?
Yeah, well, sort of, yeah.
Working with the found and recycled materials, Isabella transforms objects, spaces, and experiences into work that invites us to look closer at ourselves and the communities around us. Today we're talking about her journey as an artist and a small business owner and the realities of building a creative career in Miami and the role that the artists play in shaping the future of our cities. Isabella, welcome to City Built.
Hi.
So let's start from the beginning. Well, actually, you're born here locally in Miami, and born and raised. And for you, what does that mean when you say born and raised in Miami?
Oh man, well, I think it's really interesting, especially when you start traveling outside of Miami and you realize like just how special the city is, being a majority-minority city. Also just like seeing how embedded multiple different cultures are into the city. There's Little Havana, there's Little Haiti, there's all of the other Caribbean like cultures, also like other South American cultures. Like there's so many blends of everything all together in the city that really make it like a really big melting pot. That comes with sound, with energy, with everything. Traveling to some of these other states, you like go and have dinner and everything's really quiet, or breakfast is just really quiet.
Yeah, it's not here.
That's not here. Yeah, that's not here.
Or everybody looks the same.
Yes, everyone looks the same. Everyone dresses the same.
And you only have 3 fruits.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's really funny. Like, so I work part-time as a gallery assistant for a couple of local galleries. And it's interesting when we get out-of-towners coming and they see like the outdoor sculptures that we have in the back, and there's like chickens kind of roaming around, and they're like, do they belong to someone? I'm like, no, those are our pigeons. Yeah. That's
Yes, for those who don't know, who are not local to Miami, we don't have pigeons. We do have pigeons.
Yeah.
We have far more chickens than pigeons, but everywhere. Yes. So it's a thing. So for you, well, I won't put the cart before the horse. Were you always creative in nature, or is it something that kind of evolved or grew?
I would say I was always creative in nature. I think I spent most of my life fighting it. And then I kind of didn't have a choice.
In what sense?
Well, it was either...
The voices? What?
Well, no, it was like... was kind of like, you know, you can be an artist and be happy, or you can do something else and be sad for the rest of your life.
That's an important distinction, though. So I think there's a lot of there's a lot of people in different jobs and roles that are doing something that doesn't make them happy. So I commend you for kind of listening to that voice and taking that step and listen to what makes you happy and pursuing that. So that's really really important. So there's a distinction between being creative because for I like to think that everybody's kind of creative in their own way. It may not just manifest itself, it might just be small and great. But for you, at which point did you realize that you were an artist?
Um, hmm. I think sometimes with being an artist, it comes with like the questions that we ask ourselves and the things that we are like choosing to explore. Um, I think someone can be very creative and be very surface level,
Right.
but being an artist requires like picking more, scratching beneath the surface, digging more into a thing, and almost like allowing ourselves to get fully lost in the thing that we are trying to figure out or trying to just like put together like a
Yeah.
puzzle piece essentially.
That's interesting. So it's less about.
I don't think it has anything to do with skill. It's not. It's
not what you don't think it's anything to do with what you create.
No, I don't think so. I think, especially now in the contemporary art world, it is mostly about process and exploration. And it is like, how far can we push a thing? What does this mean? Like, if you see, there's an art piece. I forget the artist that made it, but he he basically had a sheet of paper up, and he just kind of like looked at it, and the piece was titled like X amount of times that he looked at this sheet of paper or something like that.
That was the installation.
Yes, the piece was
that
just
was
a
it.
blank sheet of paper. But like, you kind of have to believe that he looked at this paper X amount of times over X amount of days, and that's what made the work that. Not saying that like, a sheet of paper is revolutionary, but like, it's just a boldness, I guess, that comes to it, an exploration that comes to it. Like, how far can I push this thing? How far can I explore what this is and what the audience like perceives it to be? Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. And so anything, I guess, in essence, can be considered art, but there is another step to creating a career, and like you're saying, almost whether it be process, whether it be creating other things, the way you're defining it. For you, what's the distinction between being an artist that produces things and sells things and creates a career out of it versus someone who still digs deeper on their own time? It feels like there's a distinction there or a difference.
There is, I guess, a little bit of a distinction. I guess it's also like the level of where you are as an artist. Like if you're Picasso, I don't think anyone's gonna like bat an eye if you have like, a signed white.
But now, because when Picasso was around,
That's
like
true.
nobody really paid attention to him until he died and sold his stuff.
That's true. That's very true. I would say, so I have like a difference between sellable art and art that I just kind of make for my own explorations. And I would say the sellable art is still pushing boundaries, but it takes more into consideration, like, is this look nice on someone's wall? While also still remaining true to my own values and my own art practice. Is this something that could be framed, maybe? Is it
like physically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when they buy art, they're buying it as a gift, or they're buying it for their own home, or they're buying it like as something to hang up, as something to show. Some of the sculptures that I've made are probably not things that people want to buy, and that's okay. I don't take that personally. That's fine. Like it's fine. But there are some drawings that I've made. There's some fiber pieces that I've made. Those I feel like are more in consideration of like, okay, this would look nice on someone's wall. While it's still very much in my practice, it's not like I'm making art for commercial sake. It's not something that I'm mass producing. And still like asks those questions. It is something that I'm like kind of making on the side while working on those bigger pieces that are helping me develop my practice and those questions that I have deeper.
Yeah. So as a person who's out of college recently, you're really congratulations on that. That's very insignificant. That's not insignificant, especially in this day and age. You're born into the digital age. You're very connected to anything and everything that's going on in and around you. Whether you want to or not, you're just kind of born into it innately.
Mm-hmm.
So you see everything that's happening at a broader scale, national, international level, all the way down to local. It's complicated. What makes you decide, what made you decide to say, hey, I want to start business and make art my career, as opposed to taking a simpler route?
I want to be sensitive because I know that everything is very complicated right now, but I also at the same time feel like things are always complicated.
That's fair.
Things are always complicated. Things are always going up and down in price. Things are always happening. And that's going to continue happening even more as the world continues becoming even more and more connected, because, connection is a tricky thing.
Yeah.
Relationships are a tricky thing. Communication's a tricky thing. But I don't feel like I do the world a service by pretending to be something that I'm not, and by choosing the path that essentially makes me the happiest while it's the most challenging. Is I feel like, I don't know, it doesn't seem like it's adding anything negative to the world. I'm able to help more people and be there and be present for more people, the more happy and honest to myself that I'm being. Able to support other artists, help them, help just people around me.
Yeah.
I don't really make a lot of political art, so I can't say that I'm out there advocating, but I would love to. That's something that I've been interested in, part of my practice, especially environmental, because I do care about the environment a lot. But as I've been feeding more and more into my own art practice and into myself, I feel like I've been more confident in being able to be a voice, being supportive, being, I guess, just a positive influence on people around me as well. It's definitely hard. It's a harder path. But yeah, I don't feel like it's better, I feel like, to be more myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in such a complicated, no.
Because in the end, just to add to that, the world really is going to keep moving one way or another, and we're just part of that equation. So you might as well take a path that, like you said, makes you happy
yourself,
and true to yourself. And it's an interesting journey. I think it evolves as you grow. What are a couple things that you wish that they had told you? Like coming out of college, you had a particular experience in college about art.
Yeah.
Much less business.
Yeah.
What are a couple of things that you wish someone had told you, or I'll also add, or maybe just surprise you that you didn't expect?
Well, I feel like one thing that really surprised me, so I'm technically represented by a gallery right now. It's Array Gallery in Coconut Grove. She's fantastic. Her name is Anai Fonte. And most galleries are set up this way, but when you are an artist represented by a gallery, the gallery takes a cut of what you sell the work for.
Yeah.
I was thinking that had to be some sort of the case for a gallery to be remaining opening and as
they don't cover that in college in terms of how the galleries operate.
No.
Interesting.
I did not know that until I got represented and signed a contract saying 40% of what 40% or 50%. It really changes on the gallery.
Right. It depends on the gallery. But your point being, they take a large cut.
And it makes sense. They have to function, but it's a very big cut. And I feel like a lot of people, when they're seeing work that's for sale and they're like, oh my God, it's $3,000, $6,000, da 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 da. The artist really only gets 50% or 60%.
If that much.
If that much.
Yeah.
There's been some developments around that, with Saatchi and some other online platforms, but they still take a cut, whether it be 30%. I think lowest I've ever seen is 15, and they might do that for a one-time kind of thing.
Yeah, introductory price. Come in, try it.
But they do take a really big cut. which no shade to them. They need to operate. They need to,
Yeah.
they have a business to run, but very, very much didn't realize that half of the money I would be charging this piece for would not actually be mine. That's one thing. Another thing is marketing. They don't express how much marketing you have to have or like do yourself as an artist. There's catalogs that we have to make. There's portfolios that we have to make. We have to have a website. We have to have.
So it's not just to throw it up on Instagram?
No.
No.
I mean, sure, yes, but you have to like, I don't know, a gallery's going to want a PDF of all the work that you've made,
Right.
of your CV, of your about, of your resume, of all, like you have to have all of this stuff ready to go at any given moment, because a gallery might call you and be like, someone's interested in your work. They saw your piece from somewhere else and they really want to buy another. And you're like, okay.
Yeah. What do I do now? Right.
Right, exactly. And it's like the more time you wait, the less money you're going to get.
Right.
Potentially. Like they might not be interested anymore, because the art world is very finicky like that. But yeah, you got to be ready. You have to be ready.
It sounds like, as part of your business, it sounds like there's an opportunity to do some consulting or some sessions for people graduating college of what the actual art world are there organizations that you connected with that kind of help share or highlight any of this?
So not directly. I was a part of the Artists Catalyst program, which is through, oh man, I forgot the name of the company or like the organization that runs it, but it's the Artists Catalyst. Oh, the Peace Studios, Artists Catalyst program. They have sessions in Miami and sessions in Los Angeles. I was in that program in 2024. It was a 3-day program, very short, but they were just giving a rundown of like what it really means to be an artist, and they were
The business side.
on the business side,
Right.
and they're really targeting artists in my age group because they've realized that there is a big gap between the practice that you like developing our practice in college and then getting out and like figuring out what to do with that now.
Right.
Especially because as a younger artist, a lot of the work that you make is going to be really personal because you're still exploring yourself, and not a lot of people care about buying work that
That you did in your room sitting.
yeah, or it's about like
This is a
how
dream
you
I had
feel
this
about
morning.
yeah.
Right. Nobody cares about your feeling.
Yeah.
That is very much is the real world.
And working in the gallery space, you tend to realize people care more about things like archivability. What's the artist like? How much have they developed?
When you say archivability, what does that mean?
Basically, how long the piece is going to last. Essentially, like how fragile is the piece? Like if they're able to
store it,
store
like if you make an investment in a piece
Exactly.
and you want it to last a little while and not
Exactly.
just disintegrate and
exactly.
get your return on your investment.
If you, for example, me out of college, if you buy my work, if you want to know it's gonna, still exist by the time I hopefully get rich and famous.
That's the plan.
And they could probably resell it for a lot more money.
Right. But the piece needs to be around.
The piece needs to be around, exactly.
Right. So if it's a sand sculpture and it falls
Yeah.
apart, and then gotcha.
Yeah, there's some people who, of course, like still buy that type of work. But I think at that point, like, you're buying it because you really care about art, not because you're just like
Looking at the investment
as an
aspect
investment.
of it.
Exactly.
How do you, as an artist, connect with some of those people who are actually buying art? Is it really just marketing, or is there some other aspect that you?
What do you mean?
Well, if you were talking to some students that were just graduating, and they want to know, how do I sell my art? What have you learned the hard way in terms of like, if I want to get my art out there and for someone to buy it?
Yeah.
What do you actually do?
So I think I've undersold some of my work, and I'm okay with that because I was like, got sold, whatever. That was a big milestone for me.
When did you realize you undersold your work?
After I called my parents and they were like, you should have sold it for more.
Well, your parents aren't artists per se, are they?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, but I mean, so like they are, because they're your parents and they like you. But like, I'm sure you spoke to other professionals, or somebody else told you, or
yeah, the gallery owner also was like, well, she thought that it was okay for that piece, especially because it was the first piece that I've ever sold. I'm straight out of college. At that time, I was straight out of college. There's a lot of other factors. But she was like, for the next one, you definitely got to bump it up. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
So definitely get a consulting,
Yes.
consult with somebody first before
Yeah.
you start pricing your art.
Yes, it's good to keep in mind the cost of materials. So how much did the paper cost? How much, in my case, was the charcoal, the time that you spent on it? How much would you charge per hour?
Yeah.
Thinking about it in that way, like a photographer, for example, would charge $75 an hour just for a photo shoot, but that comes into cost like editing, the cost of the machine itself, like all of these, and your own time,
Right.
travel costs, which I guess that's not something for an artist because you're making work at home, but but still, like if it mattered,
No, if you went to a location and did a thing or on site in location,
that's expensive. Yeah. Like gas to go to the framing place, like all of those factors. Yeah, drop it off at the gallery. How much did that cost you? If you got to go drive it somewhere, the piece.
what are some other things that surprised you in terms of the cost of producing art?
I would say for sure, like on a like production, I think aspect, framing costs. People, I feel like, underestimate framing a lot. Framing is so expensive.
Frames are very expensive.
Frames are so expensive. Like you could just get your little cheapo IKEA frame, but like when a frame is done well, you notice.
Yeah.
Mounting is different. And it can preserve the piece as well. But framing is,
I haven't thought about it in that way. A good frame will protect the piece as well.
Especially like some of the glass, like museum glass, it has like that UV protection. That's like the most expensive glass you can get when you're getting a piece framed. But they have like the UV.
I didn't realize that.
They have like coatings on the glass that help it actually protect the piece. It is so expensive.
I can't just take it to a place that does my window tinting. Not the same thing.
You know, in theory, like maybe, but it probably won't.
It's $100.
The
Like
best
no.
looking thing. And the glass is also probably.
I didn't know that they had the museums have UV.
Yeah.
So they really do, like you said, in terms of archiving and protecting.
Yeah, there are different measures that you can get in terms of like just framing. I like that, like practicality, like that in that type of way. Framing is just so expensive. Other aspects, I guess, if you are selling art, always comes with a risk. Sometimes you can have your piece exhibited and it sells. Sometimes it doesn't. There are some pieces of mine that were in the same show as the other piece that I did sell, and those didn't sell. And those have kind of had around for a year. Sometimes it really is just about the market and what people are really interested in.
Yeah.
Lately, it's been like a lot of fiberworks. I don't know if anybody's gone to like any art fairs in the past like couple of years, but there's been like an uptick in more.
When you say fiberworks, what is that?
It's anything related to textiles and fabrics. So it could be like woven pieces. It could be
like the carpets and tapestries,
like all types of like fiber sculptures, which is like just sculptures using different types of like fabrics and stuff like that. Fiber, yeah.
Shifting gears a little bit, and in your own work, when I was reading your artist statement, we got right at the beginning. You deal with a lot of memory, grief, and identity. That's very specific. Where does that come from? What kind of drew you to those themes?
I feel like part of being or accepting a role as an artist is accepting the things that kind of haunt you. And I feel like everybody has things that haunt them. And it doesn't have to be like, I guess haunting sounds very negative. I don't mean it inherently negatively.
Yeah.
But it's just something that's like constantly on your mind. And grief is one of those things. And with grief comes a lot of memory.
Yeah.
Remembering the good and the bad of the person that has passed, or sometimes it doesn't even have to be that someone's physically moved on. It could be that they are no longer part of your life, whether that be like an ex or maybe a family member that's just, kind of cut ties with, something like that, or old friends, things like that. I feel like life is just made up of a bunch of memories. I find memory to be specifically interesting because it's something from the past, but you're remembering it in the present. Every time you remember something, it's always going to look different. It's going to
Yeah.
feel different. You're going to remember certain aspects of it, or things might even change
Yeah.
depending on where you are currently in your life.
Yeah,
Um,
I would agree.
yeah,
Because every day you are a different person, so
exactly.
when you look back on it through a different lens.
Yeah.
That's
You always
interesting.
remember something new. And so I like the specific aspect, I guess, in my art practice that I really enjoy is the idea of like layering memory, which is why I like working with a lot of found materials because it comes already with its own history. I'm then putting my history onto the said object and altering it and therefore creating like a whole new memory or a whole new idea and history with the piece. I think memory is just so interesting in how the brain, like what it chooses to remember and not remember. You don't really have a say in that. And just
Yeah.
sometimes it just kind of pops into your head. You're like, oh, that happened. And it could be triggered by anything, by a smell, the way someone said something. Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. And then you also mentioned as part of the recycled products or taking apart things.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that also part of this process you're referring to in terms of?
I would say yes. I would say, yeah, it is part of the process. I find it, I think even as a little kid, like I really enjoy taking apart things. I just find it fun. I don't know. It's fun to just take something completely apart and then rebuild it. Sometimes you rebuild it in a different way, like in
Yeah.
what I do with my art.
And you're not talking about like Legos and things.
No,
You're
not
talking
like
about
like things like I don't know, just random things. Like one of my pieces, for example, I had found an entire couch on the side of the road. I had driven past it a few times, just going like on my route, and it was just kind of like in my mind. I was like, I gotta get that couch. I gotta get that couch, which is such a weird thing to have lingering in your mind. But
I've always wondered where the furniture. I always wonder where that furniture goes when
in my
people leave
house.
it.
No.
You're the one picking all that stuff up. It's interesting.
But I took it apart completely. Took
See.
the cushions, everything, unfolded everything. I had like the individual springs. I had the box. I had the frame. I had everything, the cushions, everything.
But what are you trying to understand when you go through that process, when you do things like that?
Sometimes I just like figuring out how it was made, what materials they used to put in the things, how it was assembled, and how it can change in its assembly. But I just find it really interesting, like sometimes how things are made.
And how do you create that arc from going through that process and doing that to creating an art piece that you present?
I think just playing with the materials, a bit of curiosity, to be honest with you. It doesn't always need to be super complicated.
Yeah.
It doesn't always need to be serious either.
Right.
And I feel like the more open you are to just like playing with something, which is what I think like that like deconstructing of an item or an object is just me playing, me figuring out like, okay, what is this? Now I know what goes in the couch. Like that's fun. I don't know. It's fun for me at least. It's just playing. It's just curiosity. It's a different way of exploring that.
If someone's experiencing your art or goes to see one of your installations somewhere, if they were to remember one thing or take away an experience from it, what do you hope stays with them? Anybody experiencing your art?
Okay. That's a tricky question because I don't always like. I hope that they have some type like an emotional connection to it, whether that be good or bad, whether they hated the piece, they were like, oh my god, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen, or they're like, oh my god, it resonated so much with me or made me think of X, Y, and Z. I hope they have some type of reflection or emotion towards it. I don't always like telling in general, I don't really like telling people what my work is about because I feel like art that is good makes you like you put your own emotions into it. It's something, an artwork to me that at least I really like, leaves space for people to interpret and for people to put their own definitions or explorations onto it. And I really enjoy it when people come up to me at shows and they're like, is this about this? Because it made me feel this and made me feel X, Y, and Z. And they have more questions for me than anything. And I like, I don't know, I think that's fun. It starts a conversation. It starts like helping other people dig deeper or remembering things. And in a way, putting their own memories and all of that onto my piece. Um,
In
I,
some way, making it almost theirs.
yeah, I find it, to me, this is my hot take. I find it really boring when an artwork answers all the questions for you. It's like, okay, this is a painting of a woman. Like, okay, that's it. But like, what does it? If I have more questions when I'm looking at it, I'm like, what is that little thing back there? Why is she posed like that? That looks uncomfortable. Like, why does it look like that? Why is like, I don't know. Like that becomes more interesting. I remember it stays in my head. I'm like, oh, okay, I made that connection with the piece. It made me reflect some way, somehow, had a reaction, something. So I guess that's why it's a little bit of a hard question to answer because there's no specific emotion or specific thing. I just want people to have some questions or some reaction, something.
I think there's a process in creating the work, and you want people to go through a process when viewing or engaging or experiencing your work. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Interesting hot take. Thanks for sharing that. And for a quick pause for Sirius XM, because we do rebroadcast on Sirius XM. My name is Irvans Augustin, and today's guest is Miami-based artist Isabella Bru. Before the pause, we talked about Isabella's artistic journey, her creative process, and realities of building a career as an artist. And right now, I just want to kind of shift the conversation a little bit to I actually had one or two more questions. Actually, this has really been really interesting to me. I was going to talk about the business aspect, but I want to ask one more question about you as an artist. What is it you think that people misunderstand about being an artist?
I think it's really funny. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's such a trope that we're all like hardcore like rockers and partiers and like I don't know. It's just all about like sex and love and drugs and like all this stuff, and we just like live a like rock star lifestyle, or that we're all like starving artists or all this stuff. Like, no, it's hard for sure. It's not the normal path. It's not a 9 to 5. Working a lot of random jobs and odd hours and all that stuff, but like, it's not like.
It's not as romanticized as people.
Yeah, like people. It's not also like that. It is very like. It can be that for sure. Maybe for some people, but we're normal. I don't know. We're normal. I think we're just.
You heard it here
ourselves.
first.
Yeah.
Artists are normal people.
We have more questions. We're more explorative. Maybe we're just more curious. Having multiple toes in multiple waters. I don't know if that's the saying.
We can make it work.
Because it's like dipping your toe in the water, but it's like multiples.
So, how do you balance the protecting the integrity of your work with the business aspect of your work?
Well, I think for like gallery wise, you're never gonna show work at a gallery that you didn't choose to show yourself. So that's like an easy one. It's like, okay, you just kind of, if you made a piece, if you do all this stuff, you're like, is this like something that I actually want to sell? Is this more for me? Is this something that I am okay with other people buying? Does it make sense in like my general practice? Those types of questions for sure help keep the integrity. I guess it is also like it's no shade to like people that make a lot of commercial work, because everyone's got to make a living, you know, and it is hard. It's a challenge, for sure. But I think if like as long as you're okay with it and it makes sense for your practice and what you want to do and who you are, just as long as you're remaining honest with yourself, I think, you know, sell whatever you want to sell.
I was going to ask one other question, but living in a city like Miami,
Mm-hmm.
you've seen Miami evolve and grow. We've all seen it change. Miami changes every 10 minutes. What are some of the opportunities that exist today that, like, when you were like 4 or 5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
didn't exist? What's available now?
I would say there is a lot more attention being given to younger artists that it didn't feel like was the case before. I don't know if maybe I've just become like more attuned to it. Sorry. But there are definitely there's more workshop opportunities. There's a lot more programs. Like I recently got accepted into the Greenhouse program from Miami.
Congratulations on that. I did read that. What is that program actually?
It's a mentorship program. And also, like, Miami is just connecting with different artists. It's a summer-long program, helping us develop as artists, but also prepping us for more of the business side of the art world as well. Yeah. But there are definitely a lot more opportunities for emerging artists. It's definitely, I would say, still a little lacking. There's still some gaps that need to be connected or filled. But it's working on it. It's getting there. I think Miami's always been a place that's been filled with a lot of artists. I feel like, at least, it is a very like creative hub, and I think people are starting to pay attention to that more and more, because I don't know if it's maybe just me being in my art world bubble. That could also be it, but it does feel like there are a lot more artists around.
Well,
Or at least people being more bold in claiming that they are artists and exploring that side.
I would also add to that. I agree with you. Like the creative industry has been around in Miami in different avenues in different ways for a good while. It feels like, and this is also more of a question, so correct me if I'm wrong. It's not that. It's not that I think that Miami's taking artists more seriously, because I think they have taken art and the business of art very seriously. I feel they're taking the people. They're seeing the individuals and the people more seriously.
That's
because before, like, it felt like when Wynwood, like, I'm old enough to remember when Wynwood and Midtown was just like when we started the show, it was just warehouses, and then Midtown was just a train yard. And you know, you can Google it and look it up on YouTube or whatever. Like, all of Midtown was just a train yard where they stored trains. And like, fast forward to now to today, Art Basel is pretty much, you know, a regular thing here. It's almost like going to the grocery store. Is that embedded into the culture here? But I'm starting to see more. I agree with them. Starting to see younger artists in different spaces and places, and I also feel that there's a shift in the kind of the established organizations that have been working with artists.
Yes, I would say that.
And I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but I definitely feel like that's changing. And I'm curious to see, like, what you see coming for the future of art and artists here in Miami.
Well, I do feel like some of those more established organizations have been paying attention lately to just, like, affordability as an artist. And someone, you know, may stop being an artist when the rent is due, because that's a very real, like, I gotta go work a job, I gotta go do all these other things because I have bills to pay. All these other things are coming up. Like, it's like, okay, now it's time for the real world problems. And I put that in quotes because, like, you know, those always exist. I feel like that's something that people use to, like, scare people out of that art lifestyle. You just got to kind of, like,
go get a real job. You don't want to be an artist.
You figure it out. You figure it out. But there are a lot of organizations lately that have been like, okay, there is an affordability problem, even just, like, rent alone. And trying to keep artists local, because the other thing is that a lot of artists move to different states where they're going to get more support. And unfortunately, it's kind of like a thing in the art world right now where artists, like even artists that are way older than me, don't feel like they're taken seriously until they move to a different state and then they come back.
Right.
Because I think there's, like, more attraction to the, like, oh, they came back kind of thing. They were in New York.
Or you're from somewhere else.
Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people are trying to keep artists here, keep the world, like the world growing here, and helping people do that. People stay here because it is really expensive to stay here.
One of the lines from your artist statement stuck with me, and it says, "Miami is not a backdrop for me; it's material."
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Well, in working with found objects, I do pick up things from the side of the road, uh, and from other places, not just the roads. And that's like where I think Miami is literally, it is my material. Like it's stuff that I'm picking up from here, and then putting it in my work. And it can be very generic things like washers, like the little metal washers or
Oh, they talk
screws.
about the whole washer.
No. No, but my friend she did pick up one. But no, like little metal washers or screws and all these other things that I pick up and collect from the side of the road. They're very generic, but they're from here.
Yeah.
They were aged here, found here on certain roads. Yeah.
What do you think that artists or even yourself see in a place, a city like Miami, that other people often miss? To one, I would add, like you mentioned, like washers and nuts and bolts and
Yeah.
couches and other things. I, for myself, just depending whatever neighborhood I'm in, like I drive by those things. I don't give it a second look or even think about it.
Right.
So I would say, for one, it's interesting that those are the things that catch your attention in your eye. What are some other things that you as an artist just kind of see that other people just walk by?
Well, for me, recently, I've just been realizing how much, I guess, industry Miami has. Lots of steel yards, lots of like lumber places, and I imagine that people that work in like construction or stuff like that, they know this, but like I just I didn't realize like how much of it we have in Miami and how like kind of hidden in plain sight it is.
Miami's very good for that. There's so many
Yeah.
things that we have that we don't know. We don't notice or thinking about, and everyone just kind of focuses on whatever commercial.
Rates here, like all of that stuff. We have like it can be a very industrial city.
Yeah, it's very industrial.
Very, very industrial city. And I feel like those are like the things that sometimes can be missed, is like you don't realize like where these things come from or even how they got there. But it's like Miami is very, very industrial heavy. When you're actually paying attention, there's so many warehouses around here. There's so many, like we have the port that's here that has those giant like freight boats, ships. Almost forgot the word. Yeah, it's very industry heavy.
What role do you see artists playing in shaping a city? Aside from the superficial one of painting murals on the wall, like what do you see like artists contribute to shaping cities?
Well, I mean, other than like beautifying the city,
Yeah.
they bring culture. I would say they bring attention to the culture that's in a city. They also, I guess, depending on the work and depending on like what's being focused, they bring attention to place. I feel like there's a lot of artists that have made like public art or public works in places that like you would never really like remember or connect with. But all of a sudden, because there's an art piece there,
you think of that.
It's from there.
Right.
You're like, oh, wait, I know that place. I remember that place. So it's like you're also just remembering the city, remembering how like where things are. But it also, they just bring so much culture. I feel like they bring a lot of culture.
How do you, or maybe
And excitement.
Do you?
Yeah.
Artists are the cool kids, huh?
Really cool kids. Normal, but cool kids.
For cities like Miami, well, let me shift my question. For you and your art, do you intentionally highlight that, like, the pieces or the work that you found is from Miami, or do you kind of let the piece speak for itself, or do you intentionally highlight it?
It depends. So some of them, like if I'm using, for that couch that I took apart, for example, the title of that work was Where I Found the Couch.
Got it.
Obviously, that one's a little different because that was like someone placed that couch there, so it's not like I'm picking up things from like that resemble or are from like that specific location. But there's a lot of artists that like do site specific work, or they collect like remnants around the city,
Yeah.
and it's kind of just like collected all into one thing or laid out in a particular way, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, like that's that.
Yeah.
But I do like to know where I got these things.
Whether like in your artist statement or other things like that, or
Usually like in the individual themselves, because you go like everywhere
yeah.
to find things. But it is like I've like thought about developing like a little bit of a map to be like, okay, this is where I got like this is where I got that. I don't know. I think it would be like a fun little interactive thing.
Yeah, it could be.
Just like an archival thing for me, of tracing that.
All right, shifting gears one more time. Time for the quick three.
Okay.
3 questions. First thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
A Miami artist more people should know.
Jen Clay. I say she's awesome.
Jen Clay?
Jen Clay, yeah, she's awesome.
How do you spell that? Jenclay?
Yep.
What's so interesting about her?
I love her fiber work.
Fiber work?
I've been absolutely obsessed with it. She made a series recently called Wild Duck. She's not from Miami, but she's been here for a really long time. I don't know. I love her work.
Cool. Well, we'll have to check that out. Jen Clay. What is Miami getting right when it comes to supporting art, culture, and creativity?
Is it getting right? I would say having empty spaces for us to occupy. It's like sounds weird, but I don't know. Like I feel like some cities are just so dense.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard.
There's
to
no
find
place
spaces
to create your own
occupy,
space.
But like, oh man, an artist, we love a good warehouse. Love a good warehouse. Good empty building. Yeah, like, turn it into something completely new.
What is one thing that Miami needs more of?
I don't know. Affordable places to live. Need more artists.
Need more artists?
Need more artists.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll accept that.
More artists.
I'll accept that as a good answer. All right. So before we let you go, where can people learn more about your work or find out about you?
Okay, so my website is isabellabru.com. My Instagram is brew.isabella. That's a pretty easy way to reach out to me.
And technically the spelling for brew is B-R-U.
Yes.
Isabella, 2 L's.
I do not brew coffee. Yeah.
No. It's a good coffee shop name, though. So Isabella Bru, B-R-U.
Yes.
.com.
Yes. And Isabella with an S and 2 L's, because I know sometimes people hit it with a Z and a 1 L. No.
They're being creative.
Yes,
Don't hate on them.
You're right.
Isabella, thank you so much for joining us and coming on City Builds. Thanks for listening to City Built Sessions, if I can talk today. Cities are known for their skylines, but they're built by people. Stay curious, stay caffeinated, and keep building. I'm Irvans Augustin. This is City Built. People, culture, business. We'll see you next time.